It's time for Don and Ron. You won't get this anywhere else.
Howdy folks, welcome to another edition of Don and Ron. Don't have Ron today because he's actually building another one of these rotisseries that we use when we cover and we paint wings, mainly for painting. But these racks, they're real simple to make, made out of stuff that you can buy from your local steel place. And if you kind of notice, this is a Harbor Tool and Freight engine mount, engine rotisserie building stand. So again, very simple stuff. You can buy the casters from Harbor Tool and Freight, and the hoops that we use are what you would get from a company that sells and produces like gas lines for your neighborhood, and they're big old wheels. And what you do is you get one of those wheels that they've discarded, it's old, and you make one of the hoops for it. And we're going to show you that a little bit closer here shortly, kind of what they look like, so you kind of understand it. So but today we really want to talk about covering. On these older Piper airplanes, you know, there's really the godfather of called the Cub Doctor. If you guys don't know who that is, highly recommend that if you've never talked to Clyde Smith, they call him the Cub Doc, and you're restoring a J3 Cub, you know, give us a call so that we can help you out. But the way to get a hold of the Cub Doctor is go to cubdoc at comcast.net. But Cub Doc, he, like I say, is a good guy, good source of information. But what's really, really important is go to one of his classes. He offers a regular class and an advanced class. Well, these are things that we've learned from him. One of the things I want to show you real quick, when you go to his class, you get this little guy right here. It's a very, very nice little detailed how Piper did their covering, how they did their tapes. It covers the whole gambit, and this is one of the things you get from him when you go to the class. Just like what we use right here, this shows you where all your inspection covers go, how they go, exact measurements, and then you've also got how the tapes go on, okay? So one of those things, like I say, I don't want to give it away because you got to go to his class to get it. So sign up, call him, whatever you need to do, look him up, go on his class. So we're going to cover some of the things today, again, how we do our job. Covering is not as complicated as you would think. It's pretty straightforward. It's really, if you can wrap a present that you're going to give to somebody, you can do covering. It's just how to apply the glues. There's a lot of videos, and I'm not going to go over how we do the glues. I'm just going to show you some of the techniques we use to make our job easier. We use the AirTech covering system. Robbie out there in Arkansas, great source of information. He does a lot of videos too. Highly recommend you use his and go to his how-tos that he does for the videos. First thing, this little cheap $15 iron from Walmart. You don't have to have the real expensive, you know, irons. The big thing though is you need to calibrate it. You want to make sure that you take the dial, set the temperature on it, let it sit for a few minutes. Take your temperature probe, which you can buy one from Aircraft Spruce, so that you can get a surface temperature and know what temperature you deal with. That is very important. They make some really nice digital irons that are several $100s, but you see what we use. So just one of those things. Probably the most important iron we use though is this little hobby iron. This comes from the guys over at Aviation Art, and you buy those at Aircraft Spruce as well. It's got a digital readout on it, and we've checked it calibration wise, and they're really, really accurate. And when you're working with your tapes and doing fine detail, this is probably about one of the best that's out there. You notice we got some tape on it because you're pulling and snatching it all the time, and the wires tend to want to break right here where it comes out of the handle. And every now and then, if you use it enough, you're going to have to pull it apart, take the wires loose, and cut the bad piece of wire out and resolder it back in. So we put a little piece of tape on it as a strain relief to kind of try to help make them last longer. But a great little piece right here that we use. The other thing we use, Harbor Tool and Freight. It's one of your friends. We've had these little guys for years and years. They're just little plastic little clamps, and you know, they work really good to hold the fabric in place when you're doing a wingtip bow or doing any kind of trailing edge piece that you want to put on there, hold in place, and then you don't want to glue it because you want to rotate it, get it lined up on your lines real good, clamp it in place, and once it's clamped, then glue it. One of our little secrets that we do, we take time to make sure that everything's lined up so that we get a really, really good straight line, and our tapes look as best as we can get them. And they make varying different sizes, but again, These little guys, they got little adjustable feet on them, and we've had these guys for years. They really work good. You can see right here on the trailing edge, I've kind of set a couple of them up, and like I say, when I put this tape on, I never glue it. I always put my little clamps on there, then I twist it around, adjust it, and you can see we've got a nice little line drawn right here, so that we make sure that it looks as best as possible. And you got, like I say, your different sizes that you can use to hold it in place while you're working on it. Probably one of our best friends, and you can buy this little guy here from your local fabric store. Walmart's even has them, but it's just a cloth tape. And if you look right here, it's got the 1 through, I think 50 something inches on this little guy here. Nope, 60 inches. And they work really good because when you want to work with a contour at the top of the wing, you want something that's flexible and bends real easy. It gives you the best measurement. Also, if I want to measure around a corner, now I can do 1 inch and 1 inch without having to worry about whether or not I got it exactly right, because the tape measure bends and does what it needs to do. Well, this is kind of one of those things that covering again, if you start with the landing gear or you start with the tail feathers, learn your steps and procedures right there, because it's only a small amount of fabric. If you mess up the fabric, you tear it off, you start again. So the wing is really just more than a big horizontal or a big elevator. So like I said, don't get too worried about it. Do the small stuff first, kind of learn it, get the feel for it. Watch all the videos. Polyfiber has good videos, consolidated coatings. Airtex, of course, with Robbie. There's all kind of different stuff out there that you can learn, and there's different videos. But today we wanted to, again, just talk about some of the basic tools that we used and how we do these wings. We'll go over in the next video about stitching. There's just techniques, again, how we do things. We've got a special rack that we put it in to make it a lot easier for you to work with. All right, folks, one of the things, again, like we've always talked about, we need you to like, share, and subscribe. But more importantly, leave comments for us about what you see here today. Let us know what you'd like to see, something maybe we can expound upon for you. Just give us a buzz. But make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Thanks again, and have a good day.